In South Africa's complex political landscape, few names command as much respect and curiosity as Patrice Motsepe. A billionaire businessman, philanthropist, and founder of African Rainbow Minerals, Motsepe's success story has made him one of the most influential figures in the country. But with great influence often comes speculation. And for years, one question has refused to fade away. Could Patrice Motsepe be preparing to enter politics? It's a rumor that has followed him from boardrooms to banquets, whispered in political circles and echoed online. Each time it resurfaces, it sparks a new wave of debate. After all, his position as one of South Africa's wealthiest men, combined with his family ties to President Cyril Ramaphosa, makes him an obvious candidate for speculation. Yet, time and again, Motsepe has made his position clear. He has no desire to hold political office. And during the South African National Editors Forum annual fundraising dinner at Johannesburg's Houghton Hotel, he made that message louder than ever. The speculation dates back to 2022. During the ANC's heated leadership race, a local branch in Mandakshuk, Limpopo, made headlines by nominating Motsepe to run for the party presidency. The idea was bold: to pit one of the country's most successful businessmen against sitting President Cyril Ramaphosa, alongside senior ANC figures like Zweli Mkhize and Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. Although the nomination gained brief traction, it soon took on a life of its own. On social media, hashtags, headlines, and discussions flourished. Supporters pointed to his leadership in business, philanthropy, and sports as the owner of Mamelodi Sundowns, suggesting he had the charisma and influence to unite a divided party. But critics questioned whether wealth and corporate experience could translate into political leadership. By the time Ramaphosa secured his second term as ANC president, the rumor mill had already done its work. The idea of a President Motsepe had entered the public imagination. At the Sanef Gala dinner, Motsepe confronted the question head-on. In a room filled with journalists, editors, and leaders from across sectors, he was calm but firm. 5 years ago, he said, "The last time I had the honor of being with this important institution, the same question came up. Are you, or will you at some stage, go into politics?" Then, with a smile, he repeated his answer from years before: "I am not mad." The remark drew laughter, but behind the humor lay a serious message. Motsepe made it clear that his rejection of political life wasn't an act of disdain for public service. Instead, it came from a belief that his role and his impact could be greater outside the political arena. "I do not have to enter into politics to make a contribution," he explained. For him, leadership isn't defined by titles or positions. It's defined by what one does to uplift others. Motsepe's broader message that evening was one of unity. He urged South Africans to focus on what brings the nation together, rather than what drives it apart. What South Africa needs now, more than anything, is for all of us to come together and work together, he said, calling for collaboration that crosses political and economic divides. It's a sentiment that reflects his philanthropic philosophy, that lasting change requires collective effort. Through his foundation, he has contributed to education, healthcare, and social development across the country, demonstrating that influence doesn't depend on political power. In many ways, Motsepe's stance redefines what it means to serve. For him, being outside politics isn't withdrawal. It's freedom to act without political constraint. Of course, part of what keeps the rumors alive is Motsepe's family connection to President Cyril Ramaphosa. As Ramaphosa's brother-in-law, speculation often paints him as a potential successor or insider, waiting for the right moment. But Motsepe has repeatedly distanced himself from any political maneuvering. He describes himself as conservative, a loyal supporter of the ANC, which he affectionately calls the Mandela Party, yet one who respects the entire democratic process. He emphasized that South Africa has incredible people capable of leading the nation, and that his role is simply to support those efforts in his own way. It's a humble but deliberate distancing from power, a statement that not all influence must end at the ballot box, In a lighter moment, Motsepe turned to humor to deflect the weight of political expectations. "I've never liked people who say we don't want a president who has knock knees," he joked. "Now when I walk around and look at my knees, they are knocked all the time. So that rules me out." The audience laughed, but the moment did more than entertain. It revealed the billionaire's ability to handle speculation with grace and humor, turning what could have been a tense question into a moment of connection. Humor, in Motsepe's hands, becomes disarming. It allows him to acknowledge the elephant in the room, his perceived suitability for leadership, without being defensive. It's a reminder that even the country's most powerful figures are still human. Motsepe also addressed comparisons between his leadership in business and sport and the expectations placed on political leaders. Referencing ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula's earlier comments, he noted that leading a political party is entirely different from managing a football club. "You obviously have not heard what Fikile Mbalula said about football and politics, and I agree with him." That statement captured a simple truth. Success in one arena doesn't automatically translate to another. In business, decisions are guided by strategy and results. In politics, they are influenced by ideology, consensus, and compromise. By acknowledging this distinction, Motsepe reinforced his position. He knows where his strengths lie, and politics isn't one of them. While Motsepe continues to deny political ambition, his impact on South Africa is undeniable. Through the Motsepe Foundation, he has pledged billions towards social upliftment. He's a key player in South Africa's mining sector, a major figure in African football, and an international voice for African business. His influence extends far beyond any government position, and perhaps that's exactly the point. Not every leader needs a title to make a difference. In a country where business and politics often overlap, Motsepe's deliberate separation from political life stands out. It's a stance rooted in principle and practicality. By staying in the private sector, he can use his resources and networks to drive change without navigating party dynamics or political constraints. His message is simple but powerful. Leadership comes in many forms, and the country's progress depends on all of them working together. As the evening drew to a close, one thing was certain. Patrice Motsepe had once again put to rest the speculation surrounding his political ambitions. But in doing so, he offered something more meaningful, a vision of contribution that transcends politics. Motsepe's story challenges the traditional notion that power and change must come from government. Instead, it highlights the growing influence of civic leadership, philanthropy, and collaboration in shaping South Africa's future. His refusal to enter politics is not an act of avoidance. It's a statement of purpose. "I will, in my own humble way and with my family, continue to make a contribution," he said, and that contribution, built on years of dedication to business and community, may ultimately leave a legacy far greater than any political office could offer. In a nation still searching for unity and direction, Patrice Motsepe's stance is a reminder that leadership doesn't always require a title, only conviction, vision, and the courage to stay true to one's path.